creative morning for me is a peaceful morning.
Well, I'm not much of a morning person, if I'm being honest.
Meditation, nature,
cigarettes and coffee.
But I think it's really important to have a routine.
Some good music.
Taking the time before the day starts to assess my life, to assess my day, to assess my practice.
I feel most creative when I'm in venues like this one, hearing live music and experiencing community and
getting lost in the process. I think that's what it's all about, is finding a way to enjoy yourself.
And realign before my day gets unaligned by all the work.
Ghani is a Milwaukee-born visual storyteller who channels the essence of punk. Not through distortion pedals, but through photography, film, and community-rooted narrative. His work centers joy, resistance, and the nuanced lives of Black and brown folks, immigrants, queer and trans people, those so often overlooked, to tell the stories that matter. He builds the platforms, points the lens, and reminds us that dignity, identity, and care are forms of protest too. Help me give a warm round of applause for keynote speaker Ghani.
One last round of applause to all the volunteers that made this possible. And I think it's really important and serendipitous to recognize X-Ray Arcade in their accessibility initiative, just as Cactus Plus has taken on an accessibility initiative. So we should all celebrate and rally and support X-Ray as they build an accessibility ramp, that whatever journey that looks like with the city and with contractors. But congrats, because that is huge. So thank you. Give it up to X-Ray, please. This is weird. Only because a lot of the people I've worked with are here, and I'm usually side stage or behind the stage or behind the lens, so this feels really unique. While I was getting ready for this, I cut myself shaving the other day. It sucks because I'm 32. And I thought that I'd be better than that. But I'd like to start this with a quote from one of my favorite artists. His name is Kento Miura. He's an author. And he says, "You weren't born to fit in. You were born to become. You were born to face your struggle. And it takes guts. Guts doesn't wear a mask. Your pain, solitude, and struggle isn't there to break you. It calls you to your highest form." I think the more Western way to say that is that diamonds are built under pressure. But I like the other way a little bit more. Feels cooler. That's Ren. Love of my life. I started making art. I became an artist because when I was really young, I was exposed to a lot of journalism about what's happening in the Middle East, what has been happening in the Middle East. And I didn't recognize it at the time as a child, but it was really inspiring to see these very brave storytellers document their trials and tribulations, the struggles that they face, and in a really courageous way, tell their stories so that the world knows. I think that's pretty punk. Can I swear up here? Oh yeah, that's pretty fucking punk. I think it's really cool. And it impacted me in a really interesting way. I was raised in a single mother household, which I come from a Muslim religious background. I'm not religious myself, but culturally, that is where I came from. And a lot of that story was put in my face of what's happening in the Middle East. So it really changed the way I see the world, but I just didn't know it at the time. I was raised with a lot of anger and a lot of frustration about who I am, my place in the world. And when you're raised as a first-generation person, you spend time at home being taught by the people around you how to be. Then you go to school. I went to school, which was a very Western experience, and I had to code switch and flip and try to make my way. Grateful now that I had that experience because it really gave me a wide open perspective on what the world actually is. Do we have any zero generation or first generation people in the crowd? Stand up. Please stand up. Please, if you don't mind. Clap for them. These are the hardest working people you will ever meet in your life. I promise. I promise. They have interesting stories. I think we all do, though. So, I've made it my mission to challenge the status quo in a lot of ways. I challenge the status quo of what it means to be a Middle Eastern person. I don't feel always like a Middle Eastern person. I think the most Middle Eastern thing about me is I smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. My grandpa would be very proud. But I wanted to challenge my own story, and I did that at a very young age by getting into art and music. It was one of the only things that made sense to me in a very nonsensical world, especially a post 9/11 world. 9/11 was like a really interesting time for me to understand who I was. I didn't think about my race until people thought about it for me. And that changes the way that you think about the world. It changes your position in the world. And for a long time, I hid from it. I was scared until I found the outlet, the artistic outlet, the musical outlet. I actually have one of my oldest friends here, Sam, my first band member ever. There's more to come on our journey together, but it's really interesting that you're here. Thanks for being here, Sam. Went to MPS schools. Do we have any MPS alumni in here? Clap for them. Being an MPS alumni, I couldn't be more grateful. I think it also gave me the opportunity to be involved in art. I went to an elementary school called Honey Creek, a middle school that is now called Wedgwood Academy, and it's the sister school to Hamilton, which I did not attend. My siblings did. But when I was at Wedgwood Academy, I was in an orchestra that was led by a man named Byron Lampkins. He taught us very well. We were so good that 30 of us could perform without him being in the room. And he would do this interesting thing where he took the superintendent and walked him past our orchestra class while we were performing. Smart. But I later found out in life that that orchestra teacher was one of my good friends, Kellen Classic Abstin's uncle, one of my confidants. It's just an interesting full circle moment. My time at MPS gave me the ability to access art, understand myself, understand my position in the world, and I think that when we look at things like that under the lens of an organization like MPS, a contentious organization like MPS, I'm here to say that there's a lot of good that comes from those experiences. Grew up very poor, not a lot of figures in my life, so Byron Lampkins and my counterparts were those figures for me. Now, while my peers didn't have the ability to give me the validation that I needed, I think that my educators did in a way that I didn't quite understand at the time. I'm very grateful for that. Very grateful for my MPS experience. But yeah, living those two lives, a very traditional one, a very Western one, led me through high school. I shed my orchestra wings because it just wasn't punk at the time. Major regret. Major fucking regret. Man, it would be way cooler to be good at violin. Nah. So in high school, I started playing guitar, started singing, an okay drummer, but it was more accessible than playing in an orchestra. It felt like I had onus over it, and I think that was the most important part. Owning your own creative journey, right? When you're in high school and you can get an acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and you can start making art for you, that changes the way that you interact with the world. It changed me fundamentally. It made me the fucking punk artist that I am today. It inspired me quite a bit, and it gave me wings, again, not knowing that I shed my orchestra wings, which sucked. I went to Cardinal Stritch University after high school. I thought I wanted to become a photojournalist. That place sucked. I went to MATC, sucked. I went to UWM, and I spent about 2.5 years at UWM before I dropped out, because I wasn't getting what I thought I could get from an experience like that. So I started working at Whole Foods, then Apple, and while I was working at Apple, I started shooting artists. I started shooting artists because I suck at making music, and all my friends didn't. I wanted to be involved, right? I thought they were inspiring. I don't have many idols. Thank you. Completely. These are those guys. But I don't have many idols. These are my idols. These are people from Milwaukee that did amazing things. Some of them continue to. And that's really important. These are my idols. People I can talk to. People that can share. I started supporting artists because around 2016, I realized that not a lot of people were taking photos of artists in Milwaukee. And I thought, well, maybe if these guys had good photos, people would take them more seriously. And I don't know that that was true. I don't know if it's true still, but I took them more seriously. I think they started taking themselves more seriously in like a playful way, which was really cool. But this part of my journey changed me a lot. I learned a lot about the needs of an artist, the journey of an artist, and in doing so, I learned a lot about myself. I didn't know it when I first started shooting bands, but I was doing the same thing in a different way that those brave journalists had been doing that I learned about as a kid. They were telling stories. I think storytelling is probably the oldest profession in the history of the world, probably next to cutting hair, food, and I'm not going to say the last one, but but supporting artists, I didn't know that I was on a journey when I started shooting bands. I didn't know that. I was still working at Apple part-time, so I would go to the Apple store at 7 a.m., open it, work all day. Then I would go to places like Cactus Club at night, pay my way to go into a show, and shoot bands for free. It just made sense to me. I had to build trust. I couldn't, just because I had a camera didn't necessarily give me the leverage or permission to be here. I knew I had to earn trust. I had to earn trust with venue owners like Kelsey. I had to earn trust with bands. I had to make sure that they knew that I was there to support them, not to nickel and dime them. Now, I'm not saying artists should work for free. But I did because I was working at Apple. So I did that for many years. I was shooting weddings too. This wasn't part of my script, but man, shooting weddings changes you. I'm grateful for it though. I've learned, weddings taught me how to shoot anything. You can make anything look good. But around 2019, I thought to myself, I'm growing. I've shot like 1 billion weddings and even more shows. I really want to take this next step in my career. So at the time, less punk of me, I was like, I'm going to get a condo or buy a house. Those things can be punk. This wasn't punk. I'm going to get another tech job and keep doing this photo thing because it's fun. And I went to another tech job. This is a place called Tech Canary near Pfizer Forum. And a month into me working there, they got acquired by another organization, and I got laid off. So like anyone, I had 2 options ahead of me. I could beg Apple for my job back, or I could become a full-time artist. So I begged Apple for my job back, and they said no. Goodbye, idiot. So I was left to my own devices. I cashed out my 401k March of 2019, and I had $10,000 to my name. Which at the time, admittedly, more money than I ever had. It's at the time, admittedly, more money than I have now. And I made it work. I kept shooting bands for free. I kept supporting the artistic community. And then COVID happened. And that was probably the hardest, most challenging, exciting, and scary part of my journey today. And like any artist in a market like Milwaukee, I was flexible, I was nimble, I made concessions and challenged people to do better, and I think it worked. I'm very grateful to have been a full-time artist since March of 2019. Thank you. And then, even in 2019, I didn't realize that I was building community trust and advocating for things. I thought I was just bitching at people, like, yo, artists need to get fucking paid. What are you guys talking about? You know, what's going on here? Why don't people care about venues and community? And people do. I think I just had a narrow scope at the time. I didn't realize that there are a lot of people. There's 120 people here right now that believe in art and community and trust. I was just young and stupid and underexposed to the world of Milwaukee, and I think it was a beautiful tragedy of mine that I had a narrow scope like that. I think I learned a lot. But yeah, building trust seems to be the cornerstone of my entire journey. I don't know why it became so easy. I feel like when someone tries to give me something for free, I'm like, what's the catch? But that wasn't the case. I don't know. I think transparency was the key. I wanted to see these people fly. Most of them are. I think success for an artist, relative, non-monetary, doesn't matter. So I think they all are. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, obviously, of the people that I've had the pleasure to work with. Could we hit the next slide? Nice. Yeah, that means nothing to you guys, right? That's a film photo, unedited. So, to the photographers in the room, you know how cool that is. I took that photo in New York City while I was smoking a cigarette during Fashion Week. So that photo just means a lot to me. What it means to be a DIY artist in Milwaukee. I think I've been able to build my brand in Milwaukee as a working artist by being a minute man, a mercenary. I work out of a backpack, I get stuff done quick, I turn it around, and I think that it was the major allure to me. I don't mean to speak boldly, but I think I did something and sometimes do something that other people struggle to do. And I don't know why. I think it's because I'm crazy and I just go home and edit and get it out. Because transparently, I think I value my free time so much that I just want to get my work done as fast as possible. So I was at Summerfest yesterday and I shot Buffalo Nichols, and while he was loading his gear into the van, his photos were done. But it's important, because if you wait 3 days after a show, no one cares. The weekend's over. It's Monday. I'm looking forward to next Friday. I don't care what happened last Friday. And I knew that was important for artists in their journey to have photos right away, for companies to have event photography right away. I think that's important. I think that my journey, I was able to show Milwaukee that being a working artist, working really hard, having a true and honest voice, takes you really far. And it's really easy to get lost in the minutia of who am I, what am I doing, do people care? No. Just kidding. People care. But it's easy to get lost in that. I think my advice to every creative in the room is to find your personal brand. My personal brand is a little messy. It's clogged. It's riddled with mistakes that I'm grateful for. It's riddled with missteps, saying the wrong shit to the wrong people at the wrong time. But that's growth. That's growth. And I think it's really important. And I really encourage you all to find your own personal brand. There's nothing more punk than not conforming, like Annie said. There's nothing more punk than carving your own path as a first-generation Palestinian American that was raised in a single-mother household and an alumni of MPS schools. I carved my own fucking path. It's important to me. It's important to me here in Milwaukee that someone like me, people like us, to my other first generation and zero generation people in the room, are represented. I used to be in the streets as an activist, but I think I find more joy and intention in being an activist of representation. The fact that I get to stand in rooms with the mayor, the fact that I get to be a part of community organization, the fact that I get to speak up about Milwaukee in this way or be on this stage as a Palestinian is fucking crazy. It's awesome. It's awesome. I think my family's proud. I know my mom is. I think the rest of my family doesn't fucking care. It's like, whatever. No doctor. No lawyer. Nope. Not smart enough. I wish. I can't repair a fucking camera to save my life. Working in a market like Milwaukee as an artist is interesting. It's scary. It's fun. There's not a lot of money here. And at the same time, there's a lot of money here. There's not a lot of opportunity here. And at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity here. And it feels inaccessible, it feels tough, it feels really hard. But I don't think it is. And I don't mean to say that from a place of privilege, because I don't feel privileged. I'm literally standing on a stage talking to you guys, but I don't feel privileged. But when you create your own brand, and you carve your own path, it's really hard to ignore in a market like Milwaukee. And I think that that is the key, truly. There's nothing more punk than telling people, fuck you, I'm doing it my way. Nice. Transparently, I had like a different outline for you guys, but I thought it would be more interesting to show you the things that I actually care about. This is Ren. Give it up for Ren. Nice. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Animal activism, social justice, caring about art, community. Those are the things that are punk to me. Waking up at 8 a.m. to be here at X-Ray Arcade, punk to me. Screaming, punk to me. Throughout my journey, I've had great opportunities to do very cool things. Because I've carved my own path, I got the opportunity to work with the Bucks, Giannis, Cactus Club, Joy Engine, X-Ray Arcade, dozens of artists, Fashion Week in New York, tours upon tours upon tours upon tours upon tours, just being on the road. Tough, but amazing. And I can proudly say at this point in my career and my life that it's all culminated? Thanks, guys. Artist, not an English professor, has come together with Cactus Plus. Cactus Plus is unequivocally the pinnacle of what me and the rest of the board and organization is doing for Milwaukee. I couldn't be more grateful to be doing work with Cactus Plus right now. It's probably the most important thing in my life right now. I hope you all know about Cactus Plus. Please come talk to me. I'll talk to you outside while I chain smoke cigarettes after this about Cactus Plus for the rest of the morning. But I couldn't be more grateful that my insane, twisted punk journey has landed with Cactus Plus, community organization that cares about inclusivity, accessibility, and intergenerational programming for everybody. So that's me. I'm Samer Ghani, a Palestinian, first-generation American, raised in a single mother household who's taken a photo of a lot of things. Thank you, guys.